everyone, what's up, how's it going? Thanks for watching, thanks for being here, welcome, this is Sean. I do sneakers, I do travel, and everything in between. Sneaker superstition, sneaker myths, superstition about feet, myths about feet in general. That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. It's totally ridiculous, and that's exactly why this is going to be interesting. Now, the items that we're going to cover in this episode range from crazy superstition to certain mindsets and beliefs about feet in sneakers. Now, the criteria for selecting the entries in this episode is simple. Two criteria. Number one, they have to be kind of generally known. I know it, my neighbor knows it, you must know it. So that's number one. Generally accepted, generally known myth or superstition or mindset. Number two, I have to be familiar with them, and that means I must have some kind of experience with the mindset or the ideology or the myth. Alright, let's do this. The first myth we have here is this: the length of your foot is the same as the one from your wrist to your elbow. Sounds ridiculous, I know. I've always believed this as a kid, and actually still kind of believe it. It's ridiculously accurate. Give it a try. This may seem a little too big for a foot size, but let's try this real quick right here. I'm getting my foot and putting it against my forearm here. You can try it with me if you wish. Look at that. They're the same size, and I'm gonna prove it to you by using tape measure. I know it's a myth, and the goal here is to kind of bust the myth, but some myths hold water, you know? I have a tape measure here. I'm gonna get my foot size first, just real quick here in inches. So that's more or less 10 inches. I'm a size 10. That makes sense. And I'm gonna do this from my wrist to, okay, how do we do this? Let me do this on the table over here. It's the same length, guys. 10 inches, more or less 10 inches. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Did you give it a try? What were the results? Let me know. Isn't that crazy? It's a myth. It's gotta be a myth. It's in the same category as getting a pair of pants, holding it like this, and wrapping it around your neck, and that would be your actual waist size. And believe me, that's kind of true also. It's strange. I know it's supposed to be a myth and that we're supposed to be busting it, but it's kind of true. We did the tape measure thing. I did the foot against the forearm thing. It checks out. But let me know what your results are. Have you heard about this myth before? It's actually a truth already, it seems. Let me know your experience. Let's move on to number two. Number two, when you are given shoes or sneakers or footwear as a gift, you have to pay the giver, symbolically, as if you're buying the sneaker, because the superstition goes like this: the giver will just walk all over you and step on you because the giver gave you footwear. This is obviously superstition. Superstition is always dependent on geography, culture, upbringing. I don't know if this superstition exists in other parts of the world or in even other parts of the country, but you must have heard of this, right? You have to pay the giver. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the actual amount of the footwear, the sneaker, the shoe. You can pay the giver 1 peso and that'll do. It's a symbolism that you are not giving me footwear and I am not permitting you to step all over me and walk all over me because I actually bought the sneaker from you. You don't have dominion over me. You don't have power over me. It's ridiculous explaining it, but I think you get the idea. Our third myth right here, which is also a mindset, is it's okay to buy tight footwear because the shoe is gonna expand over time anyway. You know this. You must have heard of this. You must subscribe to the idea yourself. Your mom and dad must subscribe to the idea, and it's all right, you know. Shoes do expand, but look, full grain leather shoes, hard uppers, they don't. They get a little flimsier, they get softer over time. but they don't expand. Now, this is not based on science, this is just based on observation and experience. If you're a shoe guy, if you're a shoe manufacturer, if you've worked with leather before, let us know. But my rule is this: if you try on the sneaker, if you try on the shoe, if it doesn't fit right, if it's uncomfortable, if your toes are curled up, don't buy the sneaker, because they won't expand to get to that comfortable level. That's for sure. The situation might be a little different for sneakers made of mesh or knit uppers, because they're very stretchy from the get-go. But again, if they're a half size down or a full size down and there's discomfort, just stay away from it. You know, don't worry about, this is the last pair, I'm gonna miss out. Just look for another brand, look for another design, because it might not be worth it in the long run. You might end up not wearing the sneaker. Let's move on to our fourth myth. The fourth myth is, the more expensive the shoe, the better the shoe. Now, we all know that this isn't necessarily true. Sneaker prices are usually dictated by brand appeal, marketing pull, hype, scarcity, demand. Those are the factors that mainly affect sneaker prices. Now, there are sneakers, of course, that deserve the hefty price tag on them. You have the sneakers made in the USA or England, sneakers that use high quality premium materials. They're naturally going to be expensive because they're expensive to produce, all right? But the point we're making here is that just because this sneaker is more expensive than this one, and this sneaker is driven by hype and brand appeal, it doesn't necessarily mean this is better than a, let's say, a general release Nike, right? So you get my point. Myth number 5, the lighter the sneaker, the better. Light sneakers these days have a great appeal. They appeal to anybody. They appeal to the athlete. They appeal to the random guy who likes to wear sneakers casually. Light sneakers, they're the in thing. They speak of modern technology, modern tooling, you know, taking away the fluff, taking away the bells and whistles, and coming up with a premium, with the Apex sneaker that will make you perform to the. It's the ultimate performance sneaker because they're light. It's usually associated with speed and jumping higher, light sneakers, right? But they aren't always better than sneakers that are a little heavier. Ultimately, it will come down to foot shape, it will come down to stride, it will come down to personal style, it will come down to preference, right? Generally speaking, lighter sneakers use less materials, lighter materials, and they're less durable. Generally speaking, they're less durable than heavier sneakers. So it's important to check out the top brands when you're in the market for light sneakers. Go check out the top brands first, Nike and Adidas. Go check those out first because they kind of know what they're doing. They've spent money on research and development, so you kind of know that the sneaker will be durable and that they will perform as expected. Myth number 6, and this is more of a mindset. This brand, this signature line does not work for me, so I'm staying away from it. You might be familiar with this and maybe you subscribe to the idea too. Let me give you an example. There's one guy who is absolutely loyal, totally loyal to ASICS, and he won't mess with Adidas sneakers, right? So ASICS is the brand that fits his performance needs. He likes the designs, it fits his style. He has brand loyalty, and the shoe works for the guy, ASICS. He would never mess with Adidas because he tried on an Ultra Boost before. It didn't fit him, you know, he didn't like the design. And he would declare that I'm staying away from Adidas because it's just not my brand. All right, I'm staying away from that brand. That's familiar, and I kind of have the same mindset towards the Nike Kyrie line, right? When the Nike Kyrie 1s came out, I bought them, and the sneaker gave me plantar fasciitis, and I've isolated it to that sneaker, and that's the only sneaker that I wore that gave me plantar fasciitis. It went on for months. It was terrible. And because of that, I said, I'm never going to buy Kyrie's ever again because I don't want to get plantar fasciitis. And I made that decision without even trying on the 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. I never gave that sneaker another chance, right? And, the point of the topic and the point that I want to make here is we shouldn't be quick to condemn or put down a particular brand or a line just because we've had an unpleasant experience with a brand or line in the past. I think we're kind of missing out if we do that, especially when a new edition comes out, when a new and improved version comes out, right? And if you love sneakers, you have to check out these newer versions, right? And if you've made up your mind and you're firm about no longer being a customer of a certain brand or a signature line, that's fine too. You have the power, you decide for yourself, and that's okay. And the final myth for this episode, and this has to do with men, the size of your shoe is directly proportional to the size of your... And that's all the time we have for this video. Check me out on my other social media accounts. I'm on Instagram too, do give me a follow there. We have ongoing giveaways. I'm giving away a brand new New Balance X Racer. This is a giveaway in partnership with Jonathan from Fresh. Check out the mechanics at the description, they're so simple, good luck. Another giveaway, an Adidas Night Jogger. This is my giveaway in partnership with Manuel from Lifestyle and Sneakers. The mechanics are at the description. Check it out as well. Good luck. I also sell sneakers from time to time. These sneakers are either worn once or not used at all, and they deserve the love and attention from somebody else. Check me out on Carousel, alright? So before we go, I'd like to remind you that your value as a person is not measured by what's on your feet. Be kind. That's more important than sneakers. I'll see you next time.